I've got a new list of titles. One is the same, which is Your Week in 60 Seconds.
We started delivering an internal course, and it's about how Mahara is going to be revolutionised by AI tooling.
I don't know how you find it, but I find end of the year, I call it moving season. People leave. And then clients in the last week, Marketing Pros and Kalium, on a revenue perspective, we lost our two biggest clients. Number one is what is keeping you up?
You know, we've had a tough year, as I've told you, and we've definitely begun to recover out of it. A little bit of a squeeze on money movement.
So we are closer to a social media, AI-enabled social media exec. So it's somebody that can come in. We approach a company that's got good content, a little bit like a Bear With Me kind of thing. But we say, look, you've got good content, you've got good themes, but you are not managing this in a data-driven way. You are not optimizing this. You're not distributing this properly.
Well, you wanted to say, what's your biggest fuck up of the week? And I was like, well, I don't know if I've necessarily fucked up this week. So maybe it was just a problem we faced.
But shall I do mine and you can half pretend to listen to me while you're thinking?
So like usual then.
Yeah, like your face is there, but I know that I'm just talking to a camera and screen. Episode 2, Rich. Now, I accept the criticism you've given me today, which is I've got a new list of titles and you were frustrated that you only got those titles 45 seconds ago, which I accept.
Yeah, you would, and you know, they're like, here are the 5 things that I think we need to go through. Bang, problem, bang here, and I'm like, okay, you're going to start firing me these questions in, you know, T minus 30 seconds. So yeah, I was like,
come in,
give a guy a break.
One is the same, which is Your Week in 60 Seconds, and that, Richard, is where I'm going to start.
Am I going first?
You absolutely. Would you want me? Shall I go first so you can think about yours?
No, I think I can probably do it. I think I'm just going to quickly, slyly pick up my calendar and have a look at it from a week view, so I can see what I've done. Okay, what's my week been like? So our week's been really interesting. So we started delivering an internal course, which we'll probably get cease and desist letters for, but the internal name is Moana, and it's about how Mahara is going to be revolutionised by AI tooling. I think we touched it a bit last week. So we've had a couple of sessions on that. The guys are currently doing one on prompt engineering 101 and how we can use different tools for that, which is really good. Really great BD meetings this week. Fascinating US startups. Real mix of stuff, you know, for everything from kind of augmented reality and marketing through to healthcare and electricity grids. Real broad stuff, but smart people in every single one. Ultimately, for a December week, unbelievably interesting from a new potential opportunity. You can count me down. I'm done, buddy.
Very slick 1 minute. Right, hit me with a minute. I don't know how you find it, but I find end of the year, I call it moving season. Lots of stuff changes in 2 ways. People leave, and I always get this every year. People at the end of the year leave, and we've got, across 2 businesses, 5 or 6 people leaving both. And then clients in the last week, Marketing Pros and Kalium, on a revenue perspective, we lost our 2 biggest clients. Gone.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Not one we knew about, and the other one was definitely coming. So it's not like, they're not surprises and they're not stuff that we can't deal with, but it's just indicative of the time of year. But then on the flip side, we've got some amazing people that I'm meeting next week to come into the team. The business development, particularly on the Kalium side, is looking really, really good. And then on the Marketing Pro side, we're just so much better in terms of the whole infrastructure of the business now than we were 12 months ago.
Nicely done. That's interesting then. So, I mean, sorry about the customers. That's always rough.
It's just one of those companies that just evolved to a size that using us just doesn't make sense. So there we go. Number one is, what is keeping you up at night?
What was keeping me up, keeping Ben and I up actually on Wednesday, was that we have, I think from our October billing, so our October work that should be billed in November should be paid back end of November. You know, we're at like pushing over 20% unpaid. And we've got a rather large VAT bill coming through that it has to be paid tomorrow. So we're just a cash flow crunch. Like, we've got lots of work. People are busy. But it was just like, oh, how are we going to move this around with the way that things were falling? just because we've had a tough year, as I've told you, and we've definitely begun to recover out of it. But there's just been a few things that have gone on that made it really tough. So we had a little bit of a squeeze on money movement, which was a bit tense on Wednesday. We sorted it because we got some payment through, and I did a few things creatively yesterday. I think that one piece. So not keeping me up per se, but I've been just hitting customers that are late, and they're late for various reasons, right? And they're good people. I know they're good people, but you've still got to go and say, okay, look, this is the situation we've been put in. This is the reasons why. Can you at least talk to me? Because a lot of people disappear because it's tough. It's tough to have that conversation, say, oh, I haven't got this funding, or this hasn't happened, or this has happened. It's tough to be that exposing, even to a partner that you're working with. And we just had quite a number of those. It's not like one account that's really big. It's like several. And I don't know whether that's indicative of the funding landscape or whatever it is, but it's just been lots of those tough conversations. Like, tell me where you're at. We need this. This is what we need to do. This is late. Just a bit of sweat on the brow, on Wednesday, rather than keeping me awake. Definitely made Ben and I be creative, but we sorted it and we're okay, which is good.
Okay. What is keeping me up at night? So we are closer to a social media, AI-enabled social media exec. So it's somebody that can come in. We approach a company that's got good content, a little bit like a Bear With Me kind of thing, but it could be a SaaS company, it could be an agency, whatever. And we say, look, you got good content, you got good themes, but you are not managing this in a data-driven way. You are not optimizing this. You're not distributing this properly. We are going to get somebody that is social media native, already is good. We've enabled them with the AI tools. Oh, and by the way, it's way cheaper doing it in South Africa. And you can have them for 10, 20 or 40 hours into your business. And then on our side, we're going to find good people, which we can, and then we're going to train them in this tooling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the social media.
That's key. Is that what's key? What are you wrestling with there? Because I'm hearing that, and that sounds like you got your shit together. What are you wrestling with? Why is that bothering you?
I guess I'm just thinking, is that right? Like, that's clearly directionally right. There's no doubt. But the fact you say you like it, makes me feel good. I think we just need to press play on that. I just want to press play. Like, I was chatting to the guys yesterday. I was like, we're talking about starting in March. I was like, can we just start earlier? How can we just get this going? Because when I look at things, I look at it through a lens of sales, and I'm like, fuck, I can sell that. But then in reality, somebody has got to go and find the people, work out the tooling, create a fucking course, do all that stuff. I do get that. I just want it moving. We are going to move on. I don't want to make this your fucking AI loving the entire fucking show.
Win of the week with Doug and Rich. Founders Therapy.
Start with your win of the week, Rich.
My win of the week. I think my win of the week genuinely has been the energy I've received from speaking to really interesting founders. Like, one day we spoke to 4 people. One guy was running a really, really interesting venture studio that's in fan engagement. Super smart guy from what I can tell, and from the people that I've spoken to. We then spoke about I spoke to a couple of founders, one in the battery space, like I said, and then finished off in a really creative marketing thing. So I had like 4 hits in the arm of speaking to bright people with bright ideas that I know we can really collaborate with. And I think when you're in the guts of running a business and you're doing this and you're dealing with finances, you're chasing people, you're kind of trying to move things forward. And then you have those 4 kind of like, oh yeah, that's the reason why I do the job. That's the reason why I love it. I think that was probably my win as founders this week.
I've got win of the week for us, Kalium BD. We've got this new, few things on BD. So one, we've got this new niche. We're doing some travel because search and Google and stuff is great for travel. And we're just starting to get that pipeline working, meetings. We closed our first deal. Just taking an idea and turning it into deals, as you know, is good when you see that working. And we've also just got, at Kalium, just the people that are doing the sales across the business. It's probably the best sales team that I think I've ever worked with. Like, if you got a call, and it's not just me, it doesn't rely on me. We've got other people in the business that are arguably better than me, and they're talking to clients, they're talking about a deal, they're coming up with ideas on how to close it, and like they can just get stuff closed, and that is huge for me. Like not having to be fucking out, I've got to do this all the time. And those people, they didn't come in as salespeople; they're just fucking smart, and they know the product, and they can talk to people, and it works well. So for me, that just excites me so much. Interesting. We have the same experience there. I wanted to call it fuck up of the week. You wanted to call it problem?
This is the fuck up of the week with Doug and Rich on the Bear With Me podcast.
If I get a sense of something, I don't think I'm like, if I get a negative sense about this person wants to leave, this person in the business it's not quite the right fit for them, this customer, it just doesn't quite fit, I would say 95% of the time I'm right. And there have been quite a few instances this year where I've had that feeling, but I haven't had I've not been decisive enough in doing something about it. I'm not saying it's like, you know, you've got a feeling about a person or you have to like get them out of the business. I'm not saying that, but you can't, if you just let it drift, it will just drift to its own, it will drift to a conclusion and you won't be in control of it. Demise is a great word. So, and with clients as well, like again, with clients, there's tends to be not much you can do, but sometimes there is. And for me, my learning to myself is like, your gut, I do trust it, but I've got to just not demise drift. I need to fucking take some kind of action. Because if it's, let's say it's a person, like you can really wrap something around or speak to them or do something. And I sometimes will, but sometimes I'll just go Tokyo drift on it. And if it goes Tokyo drift, you're just not in control of the situation. So trusting your gut is not enough. You got to fucking do something. That's my fuck up and learning of the week. For next year.
There's an element of confidence there. There's an element of bravery, courage.
I don't think everyone has those instincts. You and I think probably do have them just through just doing this for so long. And those instincts are valuable, but only if you fucking do something and actually take that decision. All right. Have you got one?
It's not a fuck up, but it is not a fuck up. It's a meaty challenge that's, you know, in addition to the nuts and bolts of running the business with Ben, with the finances and all that kind of stuff that we do, and collecting capital, cash. It's the 2025 positioning of the business. You know, I touched on last week that everything in my industry is moving super quick. Well, we're turning into a new year, and we always look to refresh our positioning at the end of the year just to see what we need to do. And I've gone through like 4 iterations of what to lean on. Do I lean on this? 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 If I lean on all of them, it becomes a bit of a mess from a positioning perspective. And this is like, I'm talking about our outbound positioning here, so that customers that we want to attract, be they founders or SMEs, they got to get what we're about. And we've also got to position ourselves fairly uniquely in a very competitive market. So I've been really like wrestling with that. It's been a real tough one to figure out which way do we go and who to sense check with? How do I bounce this around? You know, so not a fuck up, but have definitely been a bit like, not necessarily quite as clear as I could be. I've got like I said, 4 different versions, but I haven't yet struck gold with, I think that's the one that will resonate. So not necessarily as astute as I have been in the past, maybe. Maybe that's because it's moving so quick.
My opinion on positioning, and this sounds absurd because essentially we do a lot of positioning.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just bullshit. I think that, you know, you're right to ask the question, but in reality, you make fucking good tech, whatever. Like it's at I don't want to talk for you because I don't know enough about it, but at Marketing Pros, we went around the houses so many fucking times. Reality, what works, we're pretty sure, and we've done the paid ad testing to prove it is, you know, it's fucking good people, half the price. They don't give a fuck really about anything else. They don't give a fuck about our community, all of the shit we wrap around it. All of that is important because it enables us to deliver the product properly. But what is important internally and what anyone cares about is, in my opinion, it doesn't matter as much. I'm not saying in your case, actually, because I don't know enough about it. But I don't know. I've just spent thousands of hours going around the houses with various positioning for clients and in-house. And I think I've come to the conclusion that it's probably not as important as people think. Shall I do an outro? You did last week's.
Do it.
This podcast, the Bear With Me Journal, is sponsored in part by Mohara. Mohara doesn't have a position at this stage. It's trying to work it out. But I'll tell you what these fuckers do. They are going to build you some really good shit. It's going to be, even at full fat rates, it's going to be pretty cheap. You've got some fucking animals in the back end pumping that out. You put a picture of Ben Blomley up, put a picture of Nick Solly up. If you want shit built properly, you want these boys running it. And that's it. That's your position for me.
Cheers, Doug.